Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I would like to start with a warning of the trigger, because this video might trigger some of you, maybe a lot of you, who believe in everything or most of the things that they are seeing and don't like when someone is asking questions and not buying the picture or questioning the picture, because something just does not sit well with me. Something feels very off. Either we are being totally played, our energy is being summoned, is being harvested. I wouldn't be surprised. Or maybe there is something going on, or maybe I am wrong, which I will admit if I am. Nevertheless, as many of you probably have noticed, my channel is called Through the Eyes of, but on the banner, on the main page of my channel, you see writer, truth seeker, traveler. So truth seeking, it's something that is really important for me. And if my intuition, my gut is telling me to ask more questions, and also I feel like the divine God, higher power, whoever it is bringing to me, recommending me some videos and directing my attention to certain symbols, I want to ask questions. So I don't know what will be the title of this video. Probably it will be Erika Kirk, Constantine cross. Is it Christian or is it Masonic? And why I'm saying this to you is because I feel like we almost have been kind of hypnotized with this entire situation that is taking place regarding Charlie Kirk. I was aware of his work. I haven't followed him too closely, but I came across of his videos. I've listened to some interviews, but the extent of the attention that this topic has received, rightfully so as far as the assassination goes, but this assassination itself, and I said it in the first video after that took place, that in my opinion, that was a sacrifice. That was a ritual, okay? Now the question is, who ordered it? Who gave the order to sacrifice? And how close that person was? How much that person knew, etc., etc. So I want to start with something from you guys. Yesterday, when I put out my video and I was questioning Erika's Charlie's Kirk wife sign at that memorial, that didn't feel right for me. Majority of you, absolutely majority of you, have said that that was a love sign from the silent language. That's why she used that. And there were some people, quite a number of people, that had the same feeling as me, that it just didn't feel right, even if it was rock on, I love you, or whatever. This entire moment, and to some people, entire situation didn't feel right. I know that a lot of you are at this point when you are exhausted with this topic, and I'm coming to that place as well. But I think why this is important, and I tell you my opinion, is because this is a question that is not just about her sign. It's not just about her. It's about the whole picture, the whole movie set, whatever it is that we are being presented with, and what we are believing. This is about people in power. This is about the power shift in the world. This is about who and what we really believe in. Is not just about her. It's about the entire structure. And I have been, hearing about it, looking into it. It's not just the Matrix movie with Keanu Reeves, but that was actually a documentary. matrix. But I think we truly, I'm almost certain we live in a construct that is it's programming our minds, so we cannot awaken and liberate ourselves to the truth, who we really are. And that's why when we have the sense to question things, we have to follow it. So now thank you for bearing with me for this long intro, but I think it's important to set the tone for this video. So yesterday when I put out my video, I got a number of comments, a lot of comments from you that were explaining what was that sign that she has made. And we will go to this sign in a moment, but there have been some comments from you that, by the way, thank you so much for putting this out and questioning things like I do. So I'm going to read you 2 comments here. Maybe let's start with Emily Pound. Emily says that Kirk woman is one of the creepiest people I have ever seen. From the very beginning, when she gave the bizarre video speech a couple of days after the incident, her body language, the way she spoke, just gave off total psycho vibes. Her husband supposedly just got brutally murdered in front of thousands of people, and she's standing there smiling, laughing, totally poised, seeming totally unaffected. The fake tears didn't work either. At this point, the whole thing is such a psyop, I'm not even sure he's dead. There is plenty of evidence pointing to how the whole thing could have been fake. I agree with a lot of things what you said, not with everything, of course, but thank you for putting this out. There were a number of people who were questioning as well her behavior. And here's another comment right above Emily's comment. Endure says, Freemasons, secret societies, if people really woke up, they would be God-smacked. Watch hand signs, watch eyes, watch the numbers, the cabal laughs. Very important comment. And now, let me show you what video YouTube has recommended to me yesterday. So I am on YouTube, as I am spending a lot of time doing my research, and I see this. There is no coincidence, I think, why we have the higher power guiding us. So I see this video. This is with Erika Kirk. It's actually, I will tell you the meaning of the name and where it comes from, the last name. This is her last name before she got married. This was her last name. And this is an interview with her. So I stopped this right here because I saw something on her neck that I wanted to understand. What is this? So she's wearing this cross right here, as you can see. And I started to look into it, and this does not look like, you know, the typical cross that you normally see on the pendant on the necklace. It looks different. I'm not going to play the interview, just to show you this image. So apparently, this is the cross of Constantine. Who was the Constantine? All right, let me tell you. Constantine was an emperor who converted to Christianity. And this is the sign of the cross that was used or created, allegedly, named after him. Did he really convert to that Christianity? I'm not sure. I will just play a little part of this, but then I will take you to the current description or meaning of this cross and who is using it. So let's take a quick listen to the history for a very brief moment. I will attach the link down below so you can listen to it. Just keep in mind that history has been also twisted. Well, history first and foremost has been twisted. So now what we are told that he was first a bad guy who killed his wife and his son, and then he became a good guy because he had a vision, and then he converted everything to Christianity, and now everything is nice. So let's take a listen. Why he really did that, or did he really truly did that, or it was just announced that he became Christian, but in fact he didn't.
It is frequently claimed that Constantine's conversion was a sham, little more than an attempt to mobilize a potential power block behind him in his bid for absolute control of the Roman state. Though his real motivations are beyond our knowledge as historians, I do feel comfortable dismissing this maximalist statement. Central to this argument is the contention that the clear hierarchy of the Christian Church was identified by Constantine as a vehicle he could use to advance his interests.
So nothing new. It seems like it could be a political move, a power move. But now let me take you to the video about that cross, that specific cross that she is wearing. I believe that's the case. I might be completely off, but let's do our own little research here. What is the story behind it, and who's using that cross?
The Masonic Order of the Red Cross, Holy Sepulchre, and St. John can trace its introduction into England from 1788, and in 1808 the Order of the Red Cross of Constantine was recognised in London with a new constitution under the name of the Illustrious Order of the Red Cross. In 1825, Robert Carlyle published an exposure in England that contained a degree called the Order of the Red Cross of Rome and Constantine, and the ritual is strikingly similar to that being used today. In 1865, Robert Wentworth Little established the Grand Council, and the order spread with great speed across the globe. The ceremonies are solemn, dramatic, and of deep mystical significance, and many Masonic historians and thinkers have seen the Order of the Red Cross of Constantine and its associated orders as not only the third great pillar of Christian Masonry, but the climax of Christian Masonry. The order has 5 degrees. The Knight of the Red Cross of Constantine. This degree relates the well-known story of Constantine the Great, the Roman emperor who was miraculously converted to the Christian faith. It tells of his divine vision, the institution of a special standard, his subsequent victory over the rival Emperor Maxentius, and the creation of what is claimed to be the oldest institution of Christian knighthood. The substance of the degree develops around the secret doctrine associated with the labarum, the banner of victory, while the lecture contains a most interesting reference to the Roman College of Architects. All regular business of the conclave is conducted in the degree of the Red Cross of Constantine, while the sanctuary and commandery are only for the purpose of conferring the appendant orders. The Knight of the Holy Sepulchre.
So what is going on, everyone? I really want to understand. Nothing is random. Everything is intentional. And I have to tell you that something just does not sit right with me. It feels really, really off. Her aura is completely different, and I know it's a tragedy, but I feel like we are watching some kind of spectacle. We are watching some kind of show or something very, very strange that just does not sit well with me. And at this point, I really question everything and everyone, and this is in the East and in the West, okay? I just want you to know about the East, the video is coming tomorrow or the day after. So let's look at her story a little bit, because there are a few things that maybe will give us some answers. The easy part is, of course, the last name that she used to have, and that is
Fransve. Fransve.
So that name in Swedish means French. Her ancestors come from Sweden. And again, I want to be very respectful. I don't know what is the truth. I'm trying to find out why there are some contradicting things that I am witnessing here. So a little story about her is that, she was the Miss Arizona. Let's see where I have this, guys. One moment. Let me find it. So here is what to know about her. She was Miss Arizona 2012 or 2011. And let's scroll down here. She worked in the entertainment industry as a model, actress, and casting director, all while remaining grounded in her Christian faith. Recently resurfaced social media clips show her brief appearance in 2019 episode of the Bravo reality show Summer House, for which she later said she had turned down the chance to be a cast member in order to focus on her legal studies. How did they meet? Well, they met initially during a brief meeting at the opening of the Turning Point USA headquarters in Phoenix, where she had applied for a job. So she came to him for a job. And then he invited her to dinner during a visit to New York City, where she was living at the time. So she was applying for a job. And I listened to a number of her interviews and with him, with Charlie, talking about that. I want to take you now to the sign, and then we go to the video with her, and then we go to the video with Charlie. So let's take a look again at the sign that I have been asking you about yesterday. And an absolute majority was saying that this is a love sign from the silent language. So here you have the sign. This is what she was showing. And this is the evil horns, the evil worshippers. That's what they show. Okay, so this was her sign, I love you, and this was the other, the bad sign, the good sign, the bad sign. However, there is always however, I don't believe that in this image here, Obama, as you can see, can I zoom it? Let me see. Yeah, it's a little bigger, but let's stay where we were. Right here, Obama is having exactly the same sign. So is Obama saying, I love you? It's hard for me to believe that Obama was saying, I love you. Maybe, she did. Maybe she did for sure. It's just Obama forgot to close his finger, but it's not just him. Let's see. We had, where is Clinton? Clinton did the same thing. I cannot find him now. But right here. Okay. So here's the same thing. Is this I love you? Is Clinton saying I love you? I don't know, guys. I'm not buying this. I think it's really, really strange. Very, very strange. I'm not trusting this at all. Let's go to the video that I came across. Now we're gonna sidetrack a little bit to the topic of Israel that I have to really prepare for tomorrow or the day after to bring you a video about it. A number of videos that I have saved. First, let's play what she had to say in one of the conferences. Then I give you my thoughts, what's gonna happen with the turning point. And then I take you to interview with Charlie. Well, not interview, but question, Q&A. and things that I'm surprised he was not aware of, or he had to wake up to the truth, because it's very strange, very strange. So let's take a listen to her first. Sorry, guys, I have so many windows open that sometimes it's confusing. So let me find the right one. I'm not sure if it's this. I'm going to find it because right here it is. Okay, so let's take a listen to what she had to say.
I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line, and I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps, seeing that both of us were in Israel at the same time. But nothing is by coincidence when God is within you, okay?
Okay, so nothing is a coincidence. I agree 100%. Her big test, in my opinion, will be this. Will she take the money from the Zionists, from the Israeli donors for the Turning Point USA, or she will not? Because if she will accept the money from those people who allegedly were pressuring him, I think we kind of see the bigger picture, don't we? Someone left in the comment section yesterday, someone said those words, that this was a venture, this operation, his assassination was a venture created between Israel and United States, and those two countries are responsible for his assassination. So don't you think this will be her biggest test? Is she going to accept the money from those who really, really wanted to have a lot of saying? And apparently Charlie Kirk was not willing to go on that journey. So I still believe he's dead. So his journey has ended as far as physical form goes. Quick thoughts about how that took place as far as execution of it. I have two interesting thoughts about it. One of my assumptions, or maybe suspicions, is that something was in his in the vest. You know, he had this like bulletproof protection, I believe, something like that. He was wearing it, and I think that explosion, that shot, came from there. It could also come from the microphone that he was holding. He actually had two different mics, I think. Or it could be as well from underneath. That was what Candace Owens was pointing at yesterday. And there is another version that was actually a drone that did that shot him. There was a very, very modern technology. It was a drone somewhere on the wall, and that's what shot him. It was definitely not this young dude who is probably under MK Ultra or something like that. So what do you think, guys? What are we witnessing? Because none of this makes any sense, and why I am digging into this stuff because this is not just questioning her and Charlie and the turning point, USA. This is questioning all the administration, right? This is questioning everyone, absolutely everyone, who even attended that memorial. I don't know. I'm not buying this at all. And all I really know, I trust God. That's all I know. And you cannot glorify any human being, or you cannot put anyone on the pedestal. It doesn't matter what country it is. Just hear me out. It doesn't matter what country it is. So let's go to this Q&A with Charlie Kirk. Was he aware of the truth of 9/11 or he wasn't? I'm very surprised.
How you doing? Thank you for a comment. First off, I just want to say, like, one of my core values as a Christian and as a man is standing firm in what you believe in. In 2021, I enlisted into the military. As far as
Thank you for your service.
As far as I know, I was the only trainee at Fort Benning, Georgia, to decline the COVID vaccine, even when everyone was trying to force me to take it. I was discharged for it. So I truly believe, as a follower of Yah, we are called to stand firm in our beliefs. I think that what you're doing is amazing, trying to get people to wake up. But here's where I start to kind of question you. You're very for Israel, and I totally understand why from a surface sense, from a biblical sense. But as a Christian man who is about to have a little girl in October, here's my problem. In the Talmud, they talk about sexual intercourse with the little girl is permitted if she is under 3 years of age. You can rape a non-Jew woman and it is legal. And as a Christian, I mean, you look at our government, it's been infiltrated by the Jews. The founders of pornography are Jewish. The founders of transgender, the transgender movement and the LGBT community are Jewish. That's exactly what was going on in Germany. I'm not excusing what Hitler did, but there's more to it. And so as a Christian, what is your biblical perspective to supporting a group of people that are promoting satanic acts and are excusing satanic behavior?
There's a lot there. First, tell me what the Talmud is.
So the Talmud, I believe, is like a set of rules that it's kind of like our 10 Commandments, but on a bigger sense.
No, it's not that. So the,
Okay.
the Talmud would be to the Federalist Papers to the Constitution. So do you know what the Torah is?
Yeah, the Torah is like the Old Testament, like what
Close.
they
Yeah, Genesis,
the
Exodus,
Bible.
Leviticus,
Yeah,
Numbers,
it's
Deuteronomy.
their version of the Bible.
Yeah. Well, that Tanakh is their version. It's actually our version. We have an indecipherable Old Testament. So let me just kind of give you a little bit overview, and then we'll talk about the Talmud. So the Torah is the most holy text in Judaism, which is indistinguishable from that as Christians. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. It's the 5 books of Moses, otherwise known as the Pentateuch. Then there is the Tanakh, which includes, the book of Joshua, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. It also includes Psalms and Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon, right? So on and so forth. Nehemiah, Jeremiah, Esther's. Okay. So that makes up the Old Testament, or they would call the Tanakh, which is basically Torah, Nephilim, and Kvetchim. Okay. Then there's the Talmud. The Talmud is interpretation of the Torah and of the Tanakh. It is basically rabbis arguing back and forth. I don't know about those specific verses. People that are in Orthodox Judaism say that is not true. I don't know. They'll have to refute and respond to that. I'm not a master of the Talmud. I do know the Torah very, very well. And I can tell you right now, nowhere in the Torah does it say anything that you just described or articulated. So you asked the question, why should we care about Jews? And
This is Xometry, the easiest way to source your metal and plastic parts using various production technologies.
We'll address the other specific points. We are called to bless the Jews as Christians. In fact, you are a Christian, right?
I am, but
what religion was Jesus?
He was Hebrew. He was not the modern. He was Jewish. He was not Jewish. He was Hebrew.
Well, hold on. He was from Judea, wasn't he?
Correct, but Jews didn't exist at that time.
Well, hold on.
The modern Jews are not the true chosen people of Yah. They created their own country in the 1940s. They established, this is their doctrine, the Yebahamath 11b.
I want to watch this entire video with you guys because this man from the audience is just brilliant. So let's continue.
little girl's permitted if she is 3 years of age. Charlie, as a
Yeah,
man of Yah,
again,
how can you justify and defend a group of people?
Justify that. That's disgusting. But I
But
will
you're
say,
supporting them.
no. Time out. I will say though that I've never met a single Jew that believes that or understands it. I encourage you to find a rabbi and confront him with that.
They have
Talmudic
videos all
verse.
over the internet.
No, yeah, it's
not a
nothing.
secret.
Nothing false is ever on the internet, right? But I encourage you.
It's live interviews.
No, I encourage you to go to a rabbi and ask him that very specific question. But let me ask you, when it says very clearly, when Paul says that we should bless the keepers of the law, which is the Hebrews, do you believe that?
I do.
Okay, so
The
we should.
modern day Jews are not the original
Okay,
Hebrews.
So, but let me help me understand that. So, do you mean the Ashkenazi Jews, or do you mean the Sephardic Jews? Because there are two. Do you know the difference between an Ashkenazi and a Sephardic Jew?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so that's very important. So what you're probably talking about is the Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenazi Jews are Eastern Europeans that came into the region in the 1940s,
Modern
and they
day
are
Israel.
Jewish.
They founded Israel. Correct?
However, but tell me what a Sephardic Jew is. A Sephardic Jew are people that never left the region. They tend to be Persian. They tend to be somewhat
I'm Persian, half Persian. I'm Irish and Persian.
fair enough. But so Sephardic Jews are actually biologically indistinguishable than the original people of Israel 4,000 years ago. So not exactly sure where we're jiving that.
Because that's the modern day Israel government. That's who Trump works with.
Well, no, it's
Netanyahu.
actually both. It's both Ashkenazi and
It's
Sephardic.
not.
Well, no, again, if you've ever been to Israel, you could tell the difference in an Ashkenazi and a Sephardic immediately. The Sephardics are like screaming about like going to, go to war, and the Ashkenazis are, having a much more liberal Orthodox Shabbat service. But let me ask you a question. You say that the Jews run our government. Fair enough. You said that?
Yes.
If that's true, why is it we send so much money to Hamas and Iran?
Because
They're doing
Israel
a pretty-
created Hamas.
Okay, wait, help me understand this. So the Jews run our government, is
Correct.
what you say.
Correct.
And
Trump met with the Sanhedrin a few years ago, and they asked him to uphold the Noahide laws, which talk about killing Christians.
Well, so the
It's not a
Noahide
secret.
laws are actually, we live under the Noahic covenant, and nowhere does it say it should kill Christians. What are you talking about?
The Noahide laws are the upholding of the. So Trump works for the
Would you
Jews.
tell me what the Noahide laws are.
The Noahide laws is a group of laws that the Jews live by that specifically say that they have guillotines. It talks about the beheading of the it starts with the G. I forget the exact word they used to describe what they would say Gentiles. They have a word noyim or something.
Goy,
Goy.
which means nation
Correct.
in Israel. Do you
Correct.
know that?
Okay.
So anyone who is not a Jew is called a Goy. Goy
And
literally means,
they all deserve what they say.
So let me just make sure I understand. So Jesus Christ, who himself was a Hebraic, Torah observant, Shabbat observant Jew, or whatever you want to call it, right? Because Jew just means you're from Judea. That's all it means. Okay, you know that, right?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Tribe of Judah, then formed Judea. Jew comes from Judea. Jesus Christ himself honored the law. Does that mean anything to you?
It does. So if we're going to say Jesus honored the law, how is justifying
And the keepers of the law
of a child under 3 years old?
That's not the Talmud is not the law.
That is what they preach in Israel. They preach in their schools. They talk about it openly.
I encourage you to find me a singular instance of somebody in Israel talking about the legitimate of 3-year-olds. That doesn't exist.
Look at our government in Hollywood, who's run by Jews. This trafficking. The Jews run this trafficking. There itself, Charlie.
Hold on.
Donald Trump himself.
But it's easy to say they run the Jews. Oh, the Jews run everything. If the Jews run everything, why is there so much anti-Semitism?
Because anti-Semitism is a construct created by the New World Order agenda that is being pushed onto us.
Jews, it's kind of like global warming. And your theory is very similar to global warming. If it gets warmer, it's global warming. If it gets cooler, it's global warming. If there's anti-Semitism, it's the Jews. If there's no anti-Semitism, it's the Jews. We send money to Hamas, it's the Jews. We send money to Israel, it's the Jews.
Hello,
What's your name?
I name it
Point, you have to tell me, like, they basically control everything, whether it hurts them or it helps them. Is that correct?
Israel wants the New World Order. They're the synagogue of Satan. It says so in Revelation, Charlie.
You think
synagogue
Israel
of
is
Satan.
the synagogue
The
of
synagogue
Satan?
of Satan.
Okay, actually, it doesn't say that.
In the Bible, it says that there will be a group of people who call themselves the chosen people of Yah, but they are the synagogue of Satan. Charlie, we live in the end times. Trump works for the...
I can't agree with that. So let me ask you, since you believe we live in the end times, what do you think? Do you think the modern creation of Israel is fulfillment of biblical prophecy?
It is not.
Okay, then we disagree. Then what do you think it is?
It is a satanic agenda to push a new world order. That's why they were fought in the 1940s. World War II was fought not over what everyone thought it was fought of. Every war is fought by, it is funded by the rich, the Rockefellers, all the rich, the Rothschilds.
Okay, so yeah, let me ask you a question.
They funded all those wars.
Was Hitler bad?
I think Hitler was bad, yes. Hitler was bad, yes. But
did the Holocaust happen?
The Holocaust did happen.
How many people died?
Not 6 million.
How many?
It was not 6 million. I don't have an exact number,
Yes.
Charlie. I don't have an exact number. It wasn't.
Okay, but you
6
said
million.
it's not 6 million. You must have an alternative. How do you know it's not 6 million?
Because there wasn't even 6 million Jews in Germany.
Okay, well, I mean, you tell me. You're the expert. How
What
many
books,
people died?
Charlie? What books were they burning? What books were they burning? The Talmud.
Well,
They kicked a Rothschild out of the Berlin Bank.
So, okay, I mean, was Hitler justified in his critique of Judaism?
I don't think he went about it the right way. I think he was wrong by killing people.
So Hitler just implemented it wrong.
So I'm not justifying Hitler. I do not support Hitler.
You know you're losing the debate when you have to insert that in.
No,
I'm not justifying Hitler.
No, because the genocide of anyone is not okay. The genocide of anyone, even Palestinians, the genocide of innocent children in Palestine is not okay.
I'm glad you say it's a genocide.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. The reason why Jews have been run out of 109 countries throughout history is because every time they get into a country, they try and take it over. In Nazi Germany, again, they were having transgender surgeries, underground transgender surgeries. They were promoting homosexuality in schools. They were literally preaching a pagan way of.
By the way, all of this is true, and we're gonna go into this in one of my future videos.
Wait, so who was Mengele?
I don't know who Mengele is.
You don't know Mengele? Mengele was the Nazi doctor who actually was the one that was performing so many of these surgeries. It wasn't the Jews alone that were doing this. The Nazis themselves were doing these horrific surgeries. Now, let me just kind of pause. You believe that the Jews run the American government.
That's not a secret, Charlie.
Well, no, I find it hilarious that
all of Trump's cabinet is Jewish.
Well, hold on. Trump's whole cabinet. JD
They have Jewish connections. They're married to a Jew.
JD
Jewish
Vance
descent.
is Catholic. Tulsi Gabbard is Hindu.
Jewish. They all have Jewish connections.
But you just
every single person
they were all Jewish. Christy Nome is an evangelical
They've converted to Judaism or Catholicism. They all have an AIPAC advisor. Not a single person in Congress can make a decision without asking their Israeli Jewish AIPAC advisor if it's okay.
Do you understand my English, but cannot speak like me? You know the words. You
the entire list.
Israel did 9/11, Charlie.
Oh, they did. Wow.
Why are we in the middle? I served. Why were we in the Middle East?
Well, I mean, you can,
why were we in the Middle East?
You can reject involvement in the Middle East without also believing Israel did 9/11. So if Israel did 9/11, help me understand this. Who were the hijackers of the planes?
They weren't hijackers.
Oh,
CIA and Israel worked together.
No. Explain to me what happened on the aircraft.
Okay, first off, what we have to understand, there's only one plane that actually crashed.
No, there were three.
No, the building's imploded.
Okay,
if a plane's going to hit a building, why would the building fall down?
Time out. Flight 93, did it exist?
Flight 93 existed, yes.
Okay, so who tried to hijack that plane?
They sacrificed those people to make it look like Bush was targeted because they wanted to cover up Bush's involvement. He just happened to be in Texas reading a book to elementary kids, and they were reading a sign on a whiteboard that talked about towers falling, Charlie.
Anti-Semitism.
We have been lied to since the beginning of this country. Jews, Freemasons, all of it's a satanic agenda. Israel is the synagogue of Satan. They're killing innocent people in Palestine over the guise of sovereignty. New World Order is coming, Charlie.
Guys, let me tell you, anti-Semitism is literally a brain cancer, as you could see.
How is this anti-Semitic, Charlie? How is it anti-Semitic?
How is it anti-Semitic?
How am I hating on Jews when I'm saying that
you keep interrupting me. Israel did 9/11 is a rather anti-Semitic thing to say. Explain to me Flight 93 and the families aboard that lost their loved ones. Who actually was the hijacker? Was it a Mossad agent?
No.
Okay, who was it?
The government put them there.
No, who was it?
They crashed a plane intentionally to make it look like George W. Bush was targeted.
Who was the hijacker? No, this is important. They can never answer this question. Who was the hijacker?
They didn't have real hijackers, Charlie. They were plants.
Okay. So when
they were plants, CIA, Mossad created
So when
Hamas.
they got the black box, of course, it was all just like a conspiracy.
Just like they found the passport miraculously 2 miles down from the crash site in
I'm sorry,
New York.
what?
They just happened to find one of the hijackers' passports laying on the ground 2 miles away from the crash site in New York. It just happened to be there. They just walked up and found it. They just randomly happen to find a perfectly
familiar
good
with
passport.
that piece
Look
of
it
data.
up. Look up the passport.
Look, here, there's so much wrong with your worldview, but the biggest problem with your worldview is this: is that you are looking to other people to blame for all of our problems, especially a small group of people, albeit flawed. Every group is flawed. I'm not going to defend everything that every group has ever done, but I find it to be rather insidious and very treacherous, because you're going out of your way to try to create this big web of connections. And it's the Jews, and it's the Jews, and it's the Jews. And why are people overweight? Well, it's because of the Jews. And why are people sad? Because it's the Jews.
I never said that.
No, you're heavily inferring that every problem imaginable is the Jews.
I did not say every problem.
Well, I mean, he basically did, everybody, right?
The problems within
And
government.
so-
The problems within government, yes.
But it does beg the question, though, which is that your obsession with this group of people is so unhealthy, and it's not merited. In fact,
it's a passion
for
the truth.
Well, I would say, the people that control our government, the people who control our government,
pedophiles, Satanists.
Okay, I actually think the people who control our government are secular leftist Marxists in the deep state. They're not exactly the Jews, but they're people that want to overturn Donald Trump being able to deport illegal aliens in this country. I think the people actually controlling our country are not the Jews. Actually, it's a combination of people that want to see the United States of America cripple and fall and keep open borders and mass inflation. Yeah, exactly. It's your answer to everything.
Charlie, it's the New World Order. It's in Scripture.
Well, again, I read the same Scripture you do. You're heavily inferring and reading into Daniel and Ezekiel
Because
and
the Old
into
Testament
Revelation.
still applies.
Okay, yes, I do. The Old Testament does still apply. Yeah.
So yes, I'm inferring into the Old Testament.
Yes. Again, you're inferring a lot into the Old Testament. Have the Jews ever done anything good?
No. Not the modern day Jews, no. The modern day Jews, no. Yah's chosen people, yes. Yah's chosen people, yes. The modern day Jews, there's a reason they were not founded until the 1940s. It's not biblical prophecy, Charlie. There's a new world order coming. Trump and Elon are pushing it. They're controlled by the Jews. All they do is worship the Jews. Trump pulled Netanyahu's seat out for him.
So let me say this. How interesting was this moment that this man, divine timing, appeared from the audience to bring up all those key points there, right? And the irony is, let's say that Charlie is dead. Who made him dead? Who did this? So, since he believed, as many of the so-called experts still do, that there were planes flying through those buildings, I came across a video, and it's not artificial intelligence. This is very, very precious nowadays to come across videos that actually are real, and you don't question it because, you know, those are the real people who are there at the very moment, and they don't bullshit you. Let's take a listen.
We was in an explosion. We was in the lobby, and the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on us.
What was it like? What was it like?
Horrible.
Like hell. You don't want to know.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the.
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion. But we was inside waiting to go upstairs, and on the way upstairs, the whole fucking plane blew. And we just collapsed on everybody inside the lobby.
Similar to the first tower coming down, secondary.
I don't know about the first one, but I know the second one was terrible. Then there was a third one too after that one. Yes. Everybody was inside the building waiting to go upstairs, and they just let loose. Everything just let loose inside the building.
So that's all I have for you today, everyone. Question everything, absolutely everything, and absolutely everyone. And never stop asking those questions. Even if, like this video today, some of you probably might be criticizing in the comments, saying that I am not compassionate enough. I am very, sometimes overly compassionate to my own default. I'm learning how to balance this and actually love myself First, love God, myself, my body, my energy, and then choose carefully who I give my love to, because it's all energy, and that's how they harvest it, and that's how they gain their own energy. So let me know what you think. I was really trying my best to remain respectful, but being respectful does not mean that you don't question people and you don't question things. Because if we stop doing that, we are completely turning into cyborgs and AI human beings. That's ultimately what they want us to be, to think alike, look alike, behave alike, and not exist anymore. All the links will be attached down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. If you still appreciate this content, make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to support my work, the best way is to become my Patreon supporter. That's monthly support, or local supporter as well, or donate on PayPal, and it really helps me a lot to continue with my videos and do my own research for you guys. Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge, and we are saving humanity. Bye, everyone.